this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Got a couple things to share with you in this very latest Moon Lambo hot jam, including perspective from an XRP chart analyst who didn't see this coming, didn't see XRP moving to the upside, and just can't believe the chart that is being shared, and said, I never thought I'd say this, but, and you'll see exactly, I'm going to go cover it towards the beginning part of this video, and then I'm going to spend a fair amount of time covering this story. Look at this headline from the Crypto Basic. Market veteran extends olive branch to XRP holders, reflects on past criticism. Okay. So they're talking about a chart analyst who has been crapping all over XRP for like just about a decade at this point. He randomly, out of nowhere, after crapping on XRP for close to a decade, he put out the other day a lengthy apology letter, and I have some critiques, let's say. I definitely have some critiques. It was really well received, actually, from what I've seen from the XRP community, and fair enough. I still have some critiques. I definitely do. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, so the first analyst that I was referencing, I wasn't aware of until literally yesterday. It's an analyst called Crypto Nova. Got a pretty big following, 140,600 followers on X. And this is the first post I ever saw from this analyst. It's an XRP USD price chart, and wrote, never thought I'd say this, but from a technical point of view, XRP looks rather bullish in my opinion. I gotta respect the chart for what it is. Okay, so look, this is what I keep telling you, I keep finding. Like, over the last couple days, I've mentioned a few times, I cannot find analysts who don't say XRP is going to do ridiculously well for the remainder of the market cycle. Because even the normal XRP haters out there who would normally be charting all sorts of bogus nonsense, they've shut their stupid little face holes because all the nonsense they said hasn't really aged so well. Their technical analysis for XRP is aged like a fine milk. That's pretty much what's happened here. And so other people, like this one, at least being intellectually honest, so credit where it's due, being intellectually honest, caught off guard by this. Completely caught off guard. And it's amazing because, and I'm not a chart guy, but like I could follow this. Setting aside all the fundamental reasons, the fact that there's legal clarity, XRP is one of the most useful cryptos on the entire damn planet, as if that weren't enough. If you look at the technicals, every unbiased analyst that I was following throughout last year, and I shared it on my channel consistently, said, wow, look at this thing. XRP's in a nearly 7-year-long symmetrical triangle. When this breaks, it's going to be with force, and it's going to be the upside. We're in a bull market. And anytime unbiased analysts would take a look at the XRP chart, either, if not for the first time, but for the first time in a long time, they were amazed, like, whoa, I wasn't even looking at this thing. And then they're like, yeah, this is going to go. And once you know it, of course, it broke to the upside. And now it's showing tremendous strength, one of the strongest coins out of the top 100 by market cap. And so take a look at a couple of these things. These posts from this particular analyst, Crypto Nova. Somebody asked this analyst, what is the crystal ball telling you? Are we all going to make it? And this is March 4th now. I went back. I was kind of curious. What were some previous XRP posts? And not surprised here. March 4th, 2024. Crypto Nova wrote, yes, but not Cardano and XRP holders, sadly. They wrecked. And a couple of the coins that are performing the best out of the top 100 are, drumroll please, XRP and Cardano. In fact, out of the top 10 coins by market cap, I mentioned that in a video earlier today, the only two coins in the top 10 by market cap that are up are XRP and Cardano. You could technically argue a Doge's like maybe by a hair. Everything else is notably down since the beginning of this year. Everything except for XRP and Cardano. It's just hilarious to me. These people, they just like, they believe these things they're saying. Like they're in their own little echo chambers, I guess. And they just believe these things. Here's another one from Crypto Nova. This is from April 28th of last year. XRP. Another long-term survivor that many would swear by. Yet, if you would have dollar cost averaged for 5+ years, equals no profit. And so you can see the price at the time for XRP, 51 cents. How many of you would have loved to have purchased XRP at 51 cents? How many would you love to, if you would love to purchase that today if the opportunity were available? Now, of course, it's not, because it's worth closer to $2.50 right now. But even this is a bad point. It's just like if you cherry pick a specific timeline, you can drive a narrative. You can drive a narrative that it was bad to purchase XRP for that whole time. Now, of course, that ignores that that XRP was being attacked by the SEC, which artificially suppressed price. So that ignores that. I think that's kind of an important factor. It also depends on when you're buying anyway. For instance, let's say I want to drive a narrative of there's only good times to buy XRP. Right, and really, frankly, dollar cost averaging, like I think that is the right approach, even being what it was at the point. But like, for instance, I spent close to 3 years buying XRP at all sorts of different price points. I first bought November of 2017, but almost all the XRP that I own and what I purchased happened after that bubble popped in early 2018. So I spent close to 3 years buying XRP, and my average buy-in price was 25 cents. So that's going to where we are now, closer to $2.50. What do you mean dollar cost averaging doesn't work? Because she's highlighting the time period where I was dollar cost averaging. Now, of course, if you want to pick a longer time frame, you can make that. But then you let even more time pass, and now your stupid narrative's broken there too. Because now a little bit more time passed, and XRP did break to the upside, and now that 5-year period was still a great time to dollar cost average. My God, why are people so against XRP? It's just so irrational. But these people, they're in their own little echo chambers. They believe what they believe, and it's like, Mike. But then things change, things flip. By the way, the analyst that I was referencing at the outset that apologized, none other than Peter Brandt. Peter Brandt, he keeps coming up recently. I think we're going to have a little break from Peter Brandt after this, partly because, well, you'll see why in a second. But Peter Brandt, I think he's a very talented chart analyst. He's been charting since 1975, literally. And he ended up jumping into crypto, got pretty popular in 2017 for calling the peak of the Bitcoin price. That Bitcoin bubble peaked in 2017 around 20 grand. He got kind of some notoriety from that. Also accurately called the bottom for Bitcoin December 15th, 2018, around $3,200. Credit where it's due. The guy can chart. But that's why it's hilarious that he's never successfully charted XRP in his entire career. Not once. Never. Not for any of the moves that matter anyway. He missed the first leg up for XRP in 2017. He missed the second leg up for XRP at the end of 2017. He missed the first leg up for XRP in 2020. And he missed the second leg for XRP up that cycle in April of 2021. He said none of it was going to happen. He also missed this cycle's burst for XRP in November. That happened. Increased almost 500%. He said that wasn't going to happen. He every single freaking move for XRP for the span of a decade that matters, he missed. And not only did he miss, he said it wasn't going to happen. Because he suffers from the affliction known as XRP derangement syndrome. So he's otherwise good at charting, but when it comes to XRP, no. And for the first time in his history, he finally, I guess he's tired of having egg on his face, he finally recently acknowledged, wow, XRP chart actually looks good. And so you get this headline, top analyst calls XRP leader of the pack, here's why. And I covered that in a video the other day, so I don't want to go through that again. But he posted that. Okay, credit where it's due. He's being intellectually honest now, I think, right? But still, he has spent years and years and years crapping all over XRP, putting out chart analysis that was oozing with negative bias, which was not sufficiently grounded in reality, let's say. Misdirecting people as a result. Look, it's okay to be wrong about stuff in life. I'm wrong about stuff in life. I'll be wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again in the future. But this is a different type of thing to me. Whatever the hell XRP derangement syndrome is, it's a different type of thing. It turns brains, otherwise functional brains, into applesauce while processing anything having to do with XRP. It's truly astonishing. And so take a look at these more recent examples. Here's one from August 1st, 2024, and we'll get to his apology here. You got to see this thing. He wrote here, August 1st, 2024, this chart pattern is a multi-year complex head and shoulders. If this chart penetrates the lower support line, then all X accounts with XRP initials attached will slowly disappear to never again be seen again. Cracks me up. By the way, Peter, just one of the word again would be fine. Not again. You don't need two of the word again. Just one would suffice. I promise you that. But that's right. All of us, the whole community, even though it's been growing consistently, even throughout the SEC lawsuit, we're never going to be heard from again because we're all just going to just dissipate. I don't know. Do we go poof into the ether? Or do we just do we get to continue to exist, but we're just no longer in XRP? Unclear from this post. But we'd go away in one form or another. That's very clear. Look at this XRP BTC chart just trying to scare people. So he missed the call again. That was August. Here's another one, October 3rd, about 1 month before XRP broke up. Here's an XRP BTC chart. And again, we were 1 month out. He still couldn't see it. And I, not being a chart analyst, imagine, he's been at this for 50 years. I, not being a chart analyst and being in crypto for over 7 years, I pointed out, because, tons of analysts highlighted it, when XRP was priced that poorly against Bitcoin, historically, those were the moments where it popped. And once you know it, it happened again, and it popped at the moment where it exactly made sense. Duh. How could he not see this? Because of the bias. That's the answer. But again, October 3rd, here's what he wrote. This is an X post that many will screenshot and remind me of often for years to come. Oh, that's right, Peter Boy. I'm happy to make sure that happens. He wrote, does everyone know that Ripple actually is formal name for ripple off? Ha ha ha. See what he did there? The ha, funny. He's making the joke man here. Ha ha ha. The funny. You see what he did there? Instead of rip off, it's ripple off. Oh, the lulls from this man. Okay, if this man ever does stand up, I will pay twice the market rate for a ticket. Absolutely. And then he says, chart has an 11-year complex head and shoulders that only if completed projects price to 0 Bitcoin. Good news for the day. So literally a month before XRP rocketed, becoming one of the top performing coins out of the top 100, a month beforehand, he said that it's trending towards 0 against Bitcoin. I love this so much. This is so rich. And then he wrote, the good news is that XRP will retain a value of 3.4 US pennies in USD terms. And you know what's extra funny is the mind is so warped because of the derangement syndrome. I believe that he believes what he wrote. I believe that he believed that at the time. I really do. I've been following him too long. And I just know that the analysis on Bitcoin and other stuff makes sense. Good hit rate. XRP, disastrous hit rate. It's just hilarious to me. And so then you get this, January 11th. This is 2 days ago. Leader of the pack, XRP. Oh my God, the flip, though. Complete 180. I welcome it. Don't get me wrong here. And then people are giving him grief over it because he's crapped all over XRP for the better part of a decade. And so I'm not going to pull up every single... It's not worth it. I just want to get straight to the apology for the rest of the video anyway. Because there was some back and forth with some XRP community members that prompted this. They were giving him crap. He gave them crap. And then we get this tome here. Let me take a sip of water before I even start reading this thing. Throat's already feeling a little bit dry, and I've been talking a lot today. But here we go from Peter Brandt. He shared this with his 772,400 followers. Oh my God, I got some things to say about this. Okay, so he wrote, an olive branch to XRP holders. Accept it if you will, reject it if you must. But I offer it with good intent. Over the years, I have taken some hard shots at you and your XRP asset. I admit my rudeness. Okay, I'm already going to pause right there. I accept that. Having read this whole thing, I haven't read it since last night. It comes across as genuine anyway. I will accept that apology, admitting the rudeness, and that's fine. So what you'll find here is I have critiques moving forward, not so much about him as a person. In fact, I credit him for the apology and admitting that he absolutely was being rude, and he was, including some trolly stuff. But I will accept that. It takes an adult to be able to recognize that and admit it, especially when recently there was some back and forth. He didn't have to do this. So you'll find my critiques aren't so much against him as a person, actually not at all. It's against the stuff that he says. Because, my God, it's just, Peter Brandt. Look, Peter Brandt has called people idiots for holding XRP. He says XRP is a scam and that it's a security. Even now it's a security, he says. Despite what the court says, no, he knows better. He's Peter Brandt. It's a security. Despite it having legal clarity. Now, these are clearly flawed takes, but That's not the only area where he comes across as someone who is new to investment markets. Now look, he may be an excellent trader, but his apology post to the XRP community demonstrates a surprising lack of understanding in the realm of passive investing. And you will see exactly what I'm talking about here. The excellent trader, except for when it comes to XRP. He's been very bad at that historically. Very bad at XRP analysis. Otherwise great. But he does not understand passive investing. It's astonishing the stuff that he says. Like, I'm going to rip his ideas to shreds here because they're bad. Not to attack him as a person, the ideas and the things that he believes do not actually make sense. So I accept the apology. Let's move past that now. That takes a big man to even say something like that, especially while he was under attack while he was writing this. I think that's cool. I respect that, actually. I do. But I haven't seen people, like so many people in the community, they've just accepted this, but nobody's critiquing the really bad stuff that he's saying here. So I'm going to do it. Because I have no soul. But no, so check this out. He continues here. Excuse me, folks. He says, you've now had your chance to return the favor. I get it. And so that was right after he said, I admit my rudeness. He says, you've now had your chance to return the favor. I get it. Some of your comments were well-deserved, some outright uncivil, others funny and creative. Yet, let me explain the motive of the criticism of earlier years. In 1981, I went all in futures trading. I started with a pittance, and I had to build my account and support all my family's needs for my trading account's profits. What I learned early on was the absolute need to protect my capital. XRP has repeatedly, over the years, lost 80%, 90%, up to 97% of its value to Bitcoin, which I consider to be the store of wealth standard. As a trader needing to guard my capital, holding onto a speculative asset, losing 90% against a more stable asset, is the definition of insanity. A further definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. Okay, first thing I'm going to nitpick here is that he said the definition of insanity, one of the definitions anyway, is doing the same thing over and over, again, expecting different results. I've heard that consistently throughout my life, and I've known my whole life that literally isn't true, and I'm going to prove it right here. Now, you can call this nitpicky, and I say yes, but it's one of my pet peeves. And this is my channel, damn it, so I do what I want, and I do want to bitch about this. Here's the definition of insanity. There is nothing, read this, you can pause right here. Here's the definition of insanity. It is nowhere in the definition does it say doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is the definition. Now, you could say doing so is insane. That would be fine. But that is not the definition of insanity. It's not any of the definitions of insanity. This is Merriam-Webster right here. Pick any website, any dictionary, you ain't gonna find that in there. It doesn't exist. So, but that's the least of the problems with what he's writing here. Oh, there are more things. So again, what did he say here? XRP dropping 80, 90, 97% against Bitcoin? And Bitcoin's the store of wealth standard, and you need to have something that you can really count on then, something that's not so volatile. Then what about this? This is from Yahoo Finance. 7 of the biggest Bitcoin crashes in history. Let's just look at some of them. June 2011, down 99%. August 2012, down 56%. April 2013, 83%. December 2013, 50%. December 2017 through December 2018, down 84%. So think about that. So, I lived through that. If you're there at the end of December 2017 through December 2018, and Bitcoin crashed 84%, that's fine to purchase though? And at that point, whether you're purchasing Bitcoin or XRP, both are completely decimated price-wise. What the hell does it even matter at that point? They're both down substantially. So like, and then you can go further. There's more examples. March 2020, 50%, May 2021, 53%. but this narrative, like, he's saying something that he has to know this isn't true. Or is it really still the XRP derangement syndrome? It's so ingrained in him that he is unaware of this, the untruth that he is spouting here. Because this is the most bogus, nonsensical position you could possibly have. So purchasing XRP when it's down about 90% bad in December 2018, purchasing Bitcoin when it's down about 90% in December 2018, that's good, that's fine, because it's the standard for a store of wealth. What? How does that even compute in his mind? That doesn't make any damn sense. And plus, stuff can go way down and then way back up. In fact, here's a headline from CNBC. At one point, Amazon lost more than 90% of its value, but long-term investors still got rich. So how about this, Peter? How about having broad exposure to the crypto asset class, especially for most, if not all, of the top 10 coins by market cap, and then you just hold for a long time and see what happens, understanding that when you're in a nascent asset class like this, everything's going to crash. This isn't unique to XRP. If you're saying that XRP should not be purchased because it's too volatile, then the same is true of every altcoin in existence, and it's true of Bitcoin historically. What are you talking about? You're basically just saying don't get in this thing that has resulted in life-changing wealth because it's volatile? What in the ever-loving hell? The purpose of investing is volatility. Yeah, you don't like it when it's to the downside, but if there were no volatility, there would be no point in investing. Volatility is literally the purpose of investing, and the crypto asset class is the most volatile asset class on the planet, and since it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger because it's here to stay, that also means that's where the most opportunity is. And so why shouldn't XRP be part of a well-balanced basket of cryptocurrencies that you hold for a prolonged period of time? It doesn't compute. This is XRP derangement syndrome still. He still suffers from, look, he apologized, I accept that. It takes a big man to do that. He's still suffering from the affliction known as XRP, or XRP derangement syndrome. Somebody get him some ointments to slather over his body. Has that been created yet? Does hydrocortisone work? I don't know how this works, man. I ain't a doctor. I'm just saying there's something wrong still here. This doesn't compute. How can he be this good at trading, but then not understand investing in a nascent asset class? Because most people think it doesn't make sense now. That's why you get these wild swings here, and there's not that much money in the crypto asset class compared to legacy finance like the stock market. But since most people don't get it yet, that's why we have the opportunity for life-changing wealth in the first frickin' place. What fresh hell is this? It makes no sense. But he continues. There's more to say here. There's certainly more to say here. He writes, "It is not so much this roller coaster ride of XRP BTC that I have made fun of, but rather the dogmatic, obnoxious, often unintelligible defense XRP holders have spoken during periods of great unrealized losses. It is that attitude I have been critical toward, not you personally, and not the fact you've been committed to make your lives better. This pursuit I applaud." Okay, look, he already admitted that he was rude, so a lot of the crap he took was in response to him being rude, like a ton of it. A ton of it. So you can't apologize and admit that you're rude and then just say, but you guys are dogmatic. What are you talking about dogmatic? Most of the people in the XRP community have broad exposure to the crypto asset class. XRP is one of many coins that most of us hold. There are almost 0% XRP maximalists, but there's a large number of Bitcoin maximalists. We are a different breed. We jump into XRP because we recognize, broadly speaking, the vast majority of us, because there's actual utility here. And it's attractive to us. So coins that have utility, we are drawn to. There's nothing dogmatic here. What are you talking about? I hold 42 different cryptocurrencies. My God, and I'm not the only one that has diversified within the crypto space. That's pretty much all of us to varying degrees. But still, it really is mostly, it's pretty much all of us, right? And then he says, "I joy in your success at present. As a career trader, nothing makes me happier than to see other speculators climb the mountain successfully. I would never disparage your success, only your attitude of defending 90% declines against an asset with more stability." Oh my God. How can he say that with a straight face? I just showed you, even the 2017-2018 run, Bitcoin was down 84%. What is he talking about? That's recent enough history. That was 2 cycles ago. What are you talking about? It does not compute. And Bitcoin, look, and here's how it works. The more money flows into an asset, the less volatile it becomes. And it should be easy to understand why. In an ecosystem where there's like 5 market participants, the first person to throw down 20, that's easy. We all got $20 in our pockets, right? Certainly if you live in a first world country. And then the next person can throw down another 20. And that's how little money has to flow in this little ecosystem to get a 100% increase. That's it. But now imagine there's 100 people. Okay, but then imagine there's 1,000. And they're all participating, which is so. Then let a decade pass, and now you got like 1 billion people in it. Imagine you get there ultimately. Well, yeah, you're going to have way less volatility. Of course you are, right? And so the assets with the higher market caps are going to have less volatility, which also means less opportunity. But that's the cool thing with XRP. Even though it's a large cap, most large caps don't have that much money into them because this is an asset class that's in its nascency still, even after 16 years, I'd argue. It's so early that you can put money in certain large caps and still get life-changing rewards, which is still pretty damn incredible here. But I'm just saying that, of course, Bitcoin being the number one in market cap, yeah, its volatility, it decreases over time, but it's still wildly volatile. And you know what he's saying here? How it doesn't make sense to put money into XRP because of a potential 90% decline? Well, that's the same argument that no coiners make against Bitcoin. They say, how could you put your money into Bitcoin? It's way too volatile. How can that be a store of wealth? That doesn't make sense. And then they just act like there's no sort of value in the technology that is Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies offers. They just pretend like it doesn't exist. Like the attributes that the technology has and the cryptocurrencies have doesn't matter. It's volatile, therefore it doesn't make sense. It's too risky. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you put it into something that's more sure, like, the S&P 500 index fund? Like, why wouldn't you just buy an ETF that tracks the index, the S&P 500? Why wouldn't you just do that? That's the argument. He's making the same argument as a no-coiner, but instead of saying don't buy Bitcoin, he's saying don't buy XRP, but it's just as irrational there. This does not compute. You gotta just buy stuff and hold for long periods of time. He then says, I am not allowing replies to this X post. If you accept my olive branch, thanks for your graciousness. If you decline it with only rude or gross feelings, that's your choice. Be assured that I have made my last X post about your precious XRP. I wish you the best with this asset. And I have questions about that. He said last post about XRP. What about, yeah, here we go. Look at this. March 12th, 2020. This is not the first time that he said he's never posting about XRP again. He just can't quit XRP. March 12th, 2020. I am breaking a promise. I said I would never again post a chart of XRP. And there it is. There's the chart on the screen. March 12th, 2020. He's done this before. I looked this up because I knew he had done this. He's like, I'm never posting about XRP again. But then he does. So I think he's gonna post about XRP again. I think he can't help it. I think he's going to do that. That's my guess. We'll see here. And then he says, my faith has never been in a trade or an asset. My faith is entirely based on my approach to cut losses quickly and allow for profitable trades in whatever asset I've held to grow. I will stand by that faith. And I stand by my belief that any asset that routinely can lose 80% or more against a more stable asset is an insane way to grow wealth. There you go. Well, then buying Bitcoin is an insane way to grow wealth. How can he say this with a straight face? I am so confused, and I don't understand how nobody has called him out for that bogus take yet. I mean, maybe somebody else has, but I haven't seen. I went through a bunch of posts, and I'm just like people applauding him. And fine, do that because I accept the apology. But his thought process is bad and wrong still. How come nobody's critiquing it, like even politely? Like, this is not an attack on him. I'm just thinking this is ridiculous. This is completely absurd here. What? I can't imagine how somebody that thinks Bitcoin makes sense could just broadly state something like this about the volatility of an asset. Because again, you should expect volatility in a nascent asset class where there's not that many humans participating. And then all of that, it's like if you just look at the price action, does the price action mean that it doesn't make sense to invest, or what about the fundamentals? Because again, I go back to this, Amazon was down 90%, more than 90%. Did that mean that it didn't make sense to invest because it was down then more than 91% after the dot-com boom and bust? Or did it make sense to say, this looks cheap, what went wrong? Did something go wrong, or is it just emotional speculators? Because if you looked at that, it turns out that all the business metrics for Amazon at that time were improving at a time when the price went down. Does that sound similar to anything? XRP, the price went down into 2018 after that bubble burst, but all the metrics that matter in crypto were getting better and increasing. more wallet holders, more utility, more businesses building on top of the XRP ledger, all that jazz. Technological superiority to Bitcoin on top of it. So XRP metrics getting better at a time when price was low. And then you think we're the insane ones. Well, because it's dramatically down and we bought it and it's got strong fundamentals. You're only fine with Bitcoin, which has much weaker utility than XRP, even though it's still got the volatility. What? That is so illogical. None of that makes sense. How about passive investing? Take a look at this article. 7 reasons why Warren Buffett thinks you should be an index investor. Now, Warren Buffett, of course, he's a no-coiner himself. But setting that aside, the logic that he applies to stock market, I argue it equally applies to the crypto asset class. And I don't want to read this whole article, but let's take a look at some key points here. Again, 7 reasons why Buffett says you should be an index investor. So think about how that would apply to crypto, because if you talk about an index investor in the stock market, you're talking about buying like an ETF that tracks the S&P 500, which is a great thing to do. You buy that, you just hold it for decades. Great thing to do. You can achieve lots of wealth. Okay, well, can't you just build your own little index effectively that it just hold a number of the top coins? Because here's the thing, when it comes to the S&P 500, the great thing about it, like, you're not researching the top 500 companies, right? You're not researching all the 500. Of course you're not. You're buying a thing that tracks all of them so that you don't have to. Because this is the great thing about investing in an ETF that tracks the S&P 500. Like, all of the people in the market have already spoken by investing in individual companies. It's the sum, wisdom, and perspective and opinion of all market participants that results in the ranking of companies by market cap. That's what that is. And so you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to try and outsmart everybody and research 500 companies. All you got to do is have the exposure. You don't have to research all of it. You don't have to have an in-depth understanding of all of their business models. Similarly, in crypto, you just have to have exposure. You can't understand every single in and out of every single crypto project. You just have broad exposure. It's the same thing. Why then wouldn't you have XRP, which is what, number 3 in market cap now? And it's always been in the top 10 coins by market cap its entire existence. But we're just, according to Peter Brandt, it's too volatile. So you just ignore that one, even though everything else in the crypto space is also ridiculously volatile? In what world does that make sense? If you listen to Peter Brandt, you shouldn't buy any crypto, frankly, because even Bitcoin's too volatile. Because you track that against, the dollar. You can track it against anything, and then you can point out it's the dollar's lost almost all of its value against it. That's the point. It's the same thing with all of the cryptos. My God, it doesn't make any damn sense here. So take a look at this. Number 1. You don't need special skill to succeed. You don't need to be an expert in order to achieve satisfactory investment returns. But if you aren't, you must recognize your limitations and follow a course certain to work reasonably well. Keep things simple and don't swing for the fences. When promised quick profits, respond with a quick no. The goal of the non-professional should not be to pick winners. Neither he nor his helpers can do that, but should rather be to own a cross-section of businesses that in aggregate are bound to do well. A low-cost S&P 500 index fund will achieve this goal. There you go. That's from 2013. Again, he's talking about stocks, but the concept flows through to crypto. The concept does. And look, I'm a regular dude, but that's what's so cool about crypto. I'm not some sort of wizard here. I'm a regular dude. And I know that if you just have broad exposure a long period of time, it works out. It works out in the stock market. It works out in crypto. I've been doing this over 7 years. It sure as hell works in crypto. It's just way more volatile, which isn't to say there is an additional risk. There's all sorts of different risk factors. It's a different asset class. But the concept comes through. You just hold a bunch of stuff. You're not going to 100% understand all of it, but having broad exposure works. It does. It simply does. And so for Peter Brandt to not get this, you buy stuff and then you wait. How does he not understand this? My God. So he's so good at trading, but he doesn't understand passive investing. He just doesn't. Here you go. Number 2, passive beats active. A lot of very smart people set out to do better than average in securities markets. Call them active investors. Their opposites, the passive investors, will by definition do about average. In aggregate, their positions will more or less approximate those of an index fund. Therefore, the balance of the universe, the active investors, must do about average as well. However, these investors will incur far greater costs, so, on balance, their aggregate results after these costs will be worse than those of the passive investors. And folks, this is in line with something that I've been screaming for years and years and years to anyone who will listen. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense to think that you're smarter than the sum knowledge of all market participants. And on crypto, it's on a global scale. It doesn't make sense. So look at where XRP is ranked, and even if you don't agree and you don't understand why, you should be a curious enough individual to think, there must be something that I don't know, because if all the humans on a global scale for over a decade have kept XRP in the top 10, maybe there's something to it that I just don't know yet. And even if you disagree with it, maybe it makes sense to have some exposure anyway. Because in the end, it doesn't matter what you think if everyone else on the planet disagrees with you. How about that? Duh. Then we got this number. I'm going to jump down to number 4. I'm not going to go through all of these, literally. The investment sins that will cost you dear. Investors, of course, can, by their own behavior, make stock ownership highly risky. And many do. And check this out. Active trading attempts to time market movements. Inadequate diversification. There you go. Inadequate diversification. The payment of high and unnecessary fees to managers and advisors and the use of borrowed money can destroy the decent returns that a lifelong owner of equities would otherwise enjoy. So again, I want to focus on inadequate diversification. Again, according to Peter's logic, because everything is outside of Bitcoin is even more volatile than Bitcoin, even though Bitcoin is wildly volatile even today, you shouldn't diversify in anything else. You should just be a Bitcoin maximalist then by that logic. It doesn't make sense. It's bad advice. Let's jump down to number 7 here. Invest through thick and thin. And so this is another thing that, with the 90% drawdowns with XRP, I guess we shouldn't do it then. There's no opportunity. Invest through thick and thin. American business, and consequently a basket of stocks, is virtually certain to be worth far more in the years ahead. Innovation, productivity gains, entrepreneurial spirit, and an abundance of capital will see to that. Ever-present naysayers may prosper by marketing their gloomy forecasts, Peter Brandt. But heaven help them if they act on the nonsense they peddle. That's right. And it just makes me think of Peter Brandt. Gloomy forecasts, thinking in the short term, it's down. How do you not, if you're in crypto and you're charting crypto, how do you not know that it's normal for every asset to be wildly volatile? And why is that bad? And why is it not bad for Bitcoin, Peter Brandt? Why? It doesn't make sense. This is XRP derangement syndrome. He still has it. Fine, he put in an apology. I accept it. That's nice of him. He still suffers from XRP derangement syndrome. He needs an ointment or something. I don't know. I don't know how this works. I'm not a doctor. He needs something. Slather it on, man. So, gloomy forecast, this and that. But, but again, I having held XRP for over 7 years and having tracking everything day in, day out, understanding that the fundamentals are stronger than ever, how could you say that the drawdown is a more important thing to look at than the actual fundamentals? So look, I understand, like I just said, it doesn't make sense and you're not going to be able to successfully analyze every single individual crypto, or same for stocks, and I don't either. But I did look at XRP, and I have looked at XRP consistently for the better part of a decade, and there's no shortage of people when he was forecasting all this stuff that never panned out for XRP price-wise. There's no shortage of people talking to him about the fundamentals. He just threw it away. He didn't care. He just discarded it all. None of it made sense. And you know what else? Look at this. Somebody thanked him for his apology here, and he responded, "Thanks, was never hate toward XRP." This is after his apology. He wrote this last night. Was never hate towards XRP. Are you sure, Peter Brandt? You sure was never hate towards XRP? Then what about this headline from FX Street? Ripple market update. XRP is manipulated scam, says Peter Brandt. It was never hate towards XRP. You called it a manipulated scam and you say it's a security. That's not hate. You hate XRP. What do you have XRP derangement syndrome. You hate XRP. And that's from June 5th, 2020. It's just hilarious. Oh my God. He lives in this little, I think he believes what he's saying, but it's so obviously not true. And so again, he's good at charting outside of XRP, but all this other stuff he said about volatility and the risk associated, Look, if you want to get into the tech sector, that's more risky too. If you want to get into crypto, which is kind of similar to tech in some ways, it's even more volatile than like the NASDAQ 100, which is tech heavy. But like you should know what you're doing getting into it, but don't then, because the asset class is doing what it's supposed to do, don't then say that because XRP is part of that, there's something wrong with XRP and that it doesn't make sense to hold for a long period of time, because that doesn't make sense. And now reality's catching up with you, and it smacked you right in the face, Peter Brandt. Reality smacked you in the face, and XRP is running because the world disagrees with you, Peter Brandt, and it doesn't matter that you hate XRP. It doesn't matter that you think it's a scam. It doesn't matter that you're wrong about it being a security. The world disagrees, and that's why it's number 3 in market cap. And that's why it's going to be here a decade from now and worth way more than it is right this very second. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.